Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Reality's coming. Diana Taurasi told Caitlin Clark before her WNBA debut. But what happened next? The rookie didn't just survive, she flipped the script. Taurasi tried to put her in her place, but Clark responded by breaking records and changing the league. That's not just answering back, it's rewriting history.
Well, I cannot believe we are fixing to have a talk about this particular player in the WNBA because I thought she was supposed to be gone.
Taurasi's tone has shifted, and what she's saying about Clark now? Unbelievable. Remember when Diana said Caitlin wasn't ready for the big leagues? That statement set the basketball world on fire. In a recent interview, Taurasi's words, they've completely changed.
You look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time. But there is going to be a transition period where you're going to have to give yourself some grace as a rookie. And, it might take a little bit longer for some people.
Just like that, it was set. A showdown between the old guard and the new wave of women's basketball. Taurasi's words weren't just casual chatter, they sparked a fire. Within hours, social media was divided, with WNBA legend fans facing off against the college phenom's supporters. You could feel the battle lines being drawn.
We know what she said. We all remember it. There's going to be a transition period. There's going to be a reality check. Yada, yada, yada. All right. Caitlin Clark ultimately got the last laugh over Taurasi. The 23-year-old still made sure to pay respects to one of the league's most decorated players.
What's wild is how fast people picked sides. Some fans backed Taurasi, citing her decades of experience and championships. She's just speaking facts, they said. But Clark's supporters saw something else. Jealousy? Fear of being replaced? The debate exploded on every sports talk show and Twitter thread.
And we know how Taurasi came back, tried to back off her comments after she got the handed to her by Caitlin Clark on multiple occasions.
Veterans questioning rookies isn't new, but Taurasi's public comments hit differently. They added to a growing wave of doubt about Clark's WNBA transition. Analysts voiced skepticism. She won't get those shots against pros. The physicality will be too much. These narratives piled on, creating huge pressure before Clark even played her first game.
Really, Taurasi said some glowing things about Clark after the game. Why did that matter? Because she made the whole reality is coming comments, and she was also and is also maybe the, biggest figure in the history of the sport, certainly in that conversation, right? And when she said the reality is coming thing, that kind of became the mantra to Clark's rookie season.
But have you seen how Clark responded? Instead of firing back, she took the high road. When asked about Taurasi's comments, Clark simply said, "That's somebody I grew up idolizing. No trash talk, no defensiveness, just pure respect." Can you feel the tension building toward their first matchup?
Because we remember what she said to Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter for ESPN months ago, when she said there's levels to this. It's one thing to go against young girls and stuff like that. You about to go up against grown women. We're going to be waiting for.
Fans circled this game, rookie versus legend. Would Taurasi back up her words, or would Clark prove she belonged? The hype was unreal, but Clark wasn't fazed. She got the best of Taurasi in their first matchup.
Obviously, a lot was made of this matchup between yourself and Diana Taurasi. I know she's one of your idols. How big is it for you to get a win here against her today?
I'm just happy we won. It was cool to play against her, and obviously a really great game. And like you said, this crowd was absolutely incredible.
Did Taurasi underestimate Clark's ability to adapt? It's hard to say otherwise. While Taurasi warned her about reality, Clark was quietly preparing to exceed expectations. Her response? Letting her game do the talking.
Diana Taurasi famously said reality is coming for Caitlin Clark when she gets to the WNBA. But the reality is Taurasi also has a ton of respect for Clark, as she expressed following the Fever's win over the Phoenix Mercury in the first ever career head-to-head matchup.
That quiet preparation was no show. It was the calm before a storm. While others debated if Clark could handle the WNBA's physicality, she was planning something unprecedented. Not just competing with legends like Taurasi, but surpassing them and forcing the entire basketball world to rethink rookie potential.
The best point guard in the WNBA, objectively, Caitlin Clark. In her one professional season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark came away with an average of 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds for the season.
From the moment Clark hit the court for the Indiana Fever, she didn't play like a rookie. She played like she owned it. Game after game, her stats had analysts double-checking their numbers. 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds. She didn't just lead rookies. She led the whole league in assists and three-pointers. This wasn't adapting to the pros. This was redefining rookie potential. All of this happened under a microscope. Every move, every shot picked apart in real time on social media. The pressure would have crushed most, but Clark thrived on it. She used those doubts as fuel, especially when facing the team of her biggest critic.
By the way, Caitlin Clark has made some remarks about Diana Taurasi, and it seems the one player she had the most fun taking to the woodshed, and who could blame her after the there's going to be a reality check. Yeah, you're right. You got swept by the rookie, destroyed, obliterated. Caitlin Clark made some comments, and she has come out and said, basically, crushing Diana Taurasi was her favorite part of last year.
When Clark faced the Phoenix Mercury, she didn't just compete, she dominated. In one game, she dropped 29 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds, leading her team to victory. And it wasn't a fluke. The Fever swept the Mercury in their regular season matchups. The rookie, who was supposed to struggle against veterans, was now beating them consistently.
She got a dose of her own medicine real fast, did she not? Talked all that trash, all of that trash. That didn't work out very well for you at all.
Clark wasn't done making statements. In a poetic twist, she broke Taurasi's three-point record, hitting her 122nd to pass the legend who doubted her. If there was ever a I belong here moment, that was it.
And of course, no one has more gravitas in the space than Taurasi. But when Taurasi sort of, deaded all that and embraced Clark, it felt like the moment a lot of the tensions would break down. Of course, that wasn't completely the case, as we've seen. But in that moment, it did feel like, all right, you've made it. You've earned it, right? Like, you've shown it. There's no fronting on your game.
What's most impressive? Clark didn't just shine individually. She transformed the Indiana Fever. A team that had been irrelevant for years made their first playoff appearance since 2016, all with Clark leading the way. She didn't just join a team, she revitalized it, bringing fans back like never before.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
Clark's impact went beyond her team. For the first time, the WNBA outdrew the NHL in average live viewers during the regular season. The league Taurasi helped build for years was now booming, thanks to the rookie she had once doubted.
And it's very interesting that all of a sudden a player that was supposed to, Diana Taurasi is supposed to retire, right? The old dinosaur is supposed to retire. Well, now you have outlets talking about landing spots for Diana Taurasi. Wait, come again?
The moment everything changed? When Taurasi put her arm around Clark. That wasn't just a gesture. It marked the start of a surprising shift. After weeks of domination, Taurasi's dismissive attitude gave way to respect.
Caitlin Clark being embraced by Diana Taurasi after the Fever beat the Mercury in that game and they played each other was one of the coolest moments of the WNBA season.
You could almost see Taurasi's internal struggle. After 2 decades of dominance, she watched a rookie take the league to new heights. How do you process that? The answer came in a moment no one saw coming.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go from kindergarten to first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment. I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct, and like anything, greatness is going to translate, and she's proven that in every level, and I don't see it being any different in the WNBA.
What Caitlin has done in her short career is nothing short of remarkable. Those words, from Diana Taurasi herself, the same player who'd warned Clark about the harsh reality of the pros. Talk about a 180. The basketball world did a double take. Was this the same Taurasi who'd been dismissive months ago? This wasn't just acknowledgement, it was a full endorsement that shook the league.
I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlin is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game just as a lot of other players have. But it is what it is, and I think that we are all benefiting from the effects that she's had on the game, and I just appreciate the way she shows up.
It's not every day in women's basketball that a Hall of Famer steps onto a podcast and delivers more truth than a finals post-game interview. But that's exactly what Lisa Leslie did when she recently came to Caitlin Clark's defense. What followed was nothing short of a masterclass in grace, perspective, and yes, a subtle but powerful takedown of Angel Reese on her very own show. Thousands were tuned in, and Reese got an up-close look at what will likely go down as one of the most graceful clapbacks in podcast history.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
While the internet has been blowing up over the Clark versus Reese drama, with fans treating it like a Marvel-style rivalry, Lisa Leslie stepped in and played a whole different game. She didn't take sides. She raised the level of the conversation. One day, she's praising Caitlin Clark for her influence on the league. The next, she's offering Angel Reese the kind of mentorship you won't find in any practice session. It wasn't about rivalry, it was about growth. And let's face it, someone had to say it.
But she literally got called out for missing layups. I mean, on her own damn show.
Let's rewind for a second. For months, it's felt like Caitlin Clark couldn't catch a breath without some WNBA veteran tossing a passive-aggressive remark or shooting her a side-eye. Between jealousy-fueled tweets and literal body checks on the court, it was obvious some in the league weren't exactly rolling out the welcome mat. So when Lisa Leslie, one of the WNBA's original legends, stepped in and said, "Actually, Caitlin's doing everything right," it landed like a buzzer-beater game winner.
You want to see more WNBA people saying this, and it's just so obvious.
This wasn't just any random take. This was Lisa Leslie, one of the architects of the WNBA, a pioneer who threw down dunks before they were the norm, and someone who understands firsthand what it means to elevate a league. So when she says Caitlin Clark is the real deal, the basketball world pays attention.
We have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlin has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. So I just don't, again, I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlin is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game.
Lisa didn't just say Caitlin Clark was talented. She emphasized the how, not just the numbers. She pointed to Clark's humility, her genuine appreciation for the trailblazers who paved the way. In a league where some hacked like they invented the crossover, Clark's deep respect for the game's history stood out, and Lisa made sure everyone heard it. Her message was clear. Are you even paying attention? While some gripe about screen time, Caitlin is out here honoring the pioneers who built the stage.
Listen, she's a competitor. She's a trash talker. She makes players around her better. She's exciting to watch. And quite frankly, I've missed seeing her. Being at Unrivaled, she was there. Like, I've missed seeing her play. So I really look forward to seeing her back out there. But as I do all of the WNBA players, like, we are really watching a very exciting level of basketball.
But let's get to the real moment, the game-changing pivot that turned heads. Lisa Leslie didn't just defend from a distance. She stepped right into the conversation, face-to-face with Angel Reese on her own podcast, a space where Reese controlled the mic and the final cut. Leslie didn't hold back. She went full truth-teller mode, looked Reese straight in the eye, and called out the glaring issue, those missed layups.
The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period. Like, we're going to fix that.
Yeah.
That's fixable for you. And I think that's probably the biggest. I think your shot from the outside is improving. I love that your ball handling is good. Your defense is improved.
Let's take a moment to appreciate the setup. You bring a legend onto your show, expecting some nostalgia, a few laughs, maybe a feel-good girl power conversation. Instead, your struggles at the rim get put on blast for thousands to hear. It wasn't harsh, it wasn't petty, it was raw honesty. And truthfully, it was the kind of tough love coaching moment Reese might not get anywhere else.
Where she literally needs to put up like 300 shots a day. And I'm not kidding. Like 200 or 300 shots a day, and that's missed layups. She's 6'3" or 6'4", can't hit a layup to save her life. And literal videos have went mega viral of just her missing layups in games.
Lisa didn't tear Reese down, she built her up. That's what makes Leslie such a force. She didn't humiliate Angel, she challenged her, the way a Hall of Famer would take a struggling rookie aside and say, here's what needs to change if you want to be great.
You got to go out there and prove yourselves. And listen, are we going to get upset about 5, 6, 10 games less on television or not? I don't think we should. We have access to find these games now in a way that we never had before, and we have to appreciate that, and all these platforms that support the W.
Lisa understands something many overlook. When the stars rise, everyone wins. And Caitlin Clark? She's not just rising, she's skyrocketing. Leslie made it clear that Clark's spotlight isn't a threat to veterans, it's a rising tide. More attention on the league means bigger paychecks, packed arenas, and a future where both rookies and veterans get what they're worth. She didn't shy away from the controversy around Clark's screen time. She tackled it head on.
Stephen A. Smith had a very interesting discourse with Fee recently over the number of games the Fever have broadcasted this season compared to other teams who have also got stars on them. So curious what you make of W's decision to lean into highlighting its stars.
While players like Reese and others grumbled about how often Clark's team gets the national spotlight, Lisa Leslie broke it down like a professor. When one of us eats, we all eat. In other words, instead of complaining about TV time, they should be thanking Clark for bringing more eyes and more opportunity to the league.
I think it's all about money, marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game. I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect, called the Caitlin Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games?
Remember when some players, and even ESPN, tried to downplay Caitlin Clark's dominance at Iowa just because she didn't win a national title?
I'm curious, where would you rank her amongst all-time college players in your opinion?
Ooh, that's tough because you got to win one. I feel like that college is one of those spaces where you got to win one for them to even have your name in the conversation. And it took me 3 years to win mine, so it's hard.
Well, Lisa Leslie wasn't having any of that either. She shut it down, plain and simple.
Curious if you think winning an NCAA championship is needed for that eventual GOAT conversation, greatest of all time status.
Absolutely not. I didn't win an NCAA championship. I was National Player of the Year. I won all of the individual awards, but sometimes, it's very hard to win a national championship, regardless of how much people talk about it, like, oh, you have to have it. it is one of the hardest things to do in a tournament where you have so many games and you're trying to get there. So yeah, shout out to all of the players who were able to win national championships, but it doesn't make a player who didn't win a national championship any less of an amazing individual player. And
then came the mic drop moment. Lisa Leslie said, "Clark deserves this, all of it. The attention, the endorsements, the hype, because she's changing the game." And when those words come from someone who changed the game herself, it's not just praise, it's a passing of the torch.
Hey, listen, Caitlin, I am so thankful for her. I'm thankful for all of these women and where this game is, and we have to step back and see the big picture and how it's impacting all of us.
So what did we witness? It wasn't just a defense of Caitlin Clark or a critique of Angel Reese. It was a lesson in leadership from one of the game's all-time greats. Lisa Leslie showed us how it's done. You lift others up, you correct when necessary, and most importantly, you speak the truth, even when it's uncomfortable and even when it's on someone else's mic. Because at the end of the day, Lisa Leslie isn't here to play favorites. She's here to elevate the game. And Caitlin Clark? She's proving every day that she's not just a media sensation, she's the future Lisa Leslie's been waiting for.
We have more eyeballs on the game, and Caitlin Clark brings that. Why would we feel some kind of way because she has
WNBA icon Lisa Leslie recently shared her thoughts with unexpected candor regarding the Caitlin Clark TV controversy. When questioned about the Indiana Fever's overwhelming presence on national television, with an astonishing 41 out of 44 games broadcasted, Leslie's response turned heads and sparked widespread discussion.
Did an interview with USA Today, and I wanted to jump on really quickly and share that in case you missed it, and also share my perspective, because it's so noteworthy how Lisa Leslie responds to the news that the Indiana Fever.
Her insightful viewpoint completely turns the conversation around, shedding light on why some of the most influential figures in women's basketball see the situation in a radically different light than many of today's critics. The statistics are undeniable. The Indiana Fever are set to appear on national television for 41 of their 44 regular season games, marking an extraordinary level of exposure for any WNBA team. This announcement has ignited intense debates online, with some accusing favoritism, while others applaud the added visibility for the league.
Caitlin Clark making waves without winning a championship, despite getting very close. If UConn doesn't take it this year, it feels like, Paige is going to be in that same boat. So I'm curious if you think winning an NCAA championship is needed for that eventual GOAT conversation, greatest of all time.
When USA Today recently asked four-time Olympic gold medalist and WNBA legend Lisa Leslie about the controversy, her response surprised many. Instead of jumping on the bandwagon of criticism or expressing any frustration, she offered a masterclass in perspective. Her answer perfectly illustrated why the legends of women's basketball see the situation in a way that differs greatly from some of today's critics.
Marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game. I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect called the Caitlin Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games? I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlin has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. So I just don't, again, I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlin is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game just as a lot of other players have. But it is what it is, and I think that we are all benefiting.
I believe it's all about money, marketing, and we can't ignore what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game, Leslie said with conviction. I'm not going to pretend it's something we don't see. Her direct and honest statement cuts through the chatter that has surrounded WNBA discussions since Clark's rise to prominence.
National Player of the Year, I won all of the individual awards, but sometimes, it's very hard to win a national championship, regardless of how much people talk about it, like, oh, you have to have it. It is one of the hardest things to do in a tournament where you have so many games and you're trying to get there. So yeah, shout out to all of the players who were able to win national championships, but it doesn't make a player who didn't win a national championship any less of an amazing individual player and the possibility to be in the talks of being.
Leslie, who lived through the early struggles of the WNBA as one of its founding superstars, understands something that seems to elude many current observers. This level of attention is unprecedented and should be embraced. Have we ever had teams having to play in larger arenas to accommodate a crowd? No, we have not, Leslie pointed out, referring to the numerous venue changes across the league to meet the demand for seats at Fever games. This simple remark speaks volumes. Leslie isn't viewing Caitlin Clark's impact through a lens of jealousy or insecurity. She's placing it within a historical context, something she's uniquely qualified to do as someone who witnessed the league's formative years. What makes Leslie's perspective particularly valuable is that she brings the experience of having to build the league with far less support and recognition. During Leslie's early years in the WNBA, players fought just to get basic media coverage. They played in smaller arenas with limited broadcast opportunities, laying the foundation for today's increased visibility through sheer talent and perseverance. Given this history, one might expect Leslie to feel frustration over the attention Clark is receiving so early in her career. But instead, Leslie offers a level of wisdom that highlights why the pioneers of women's basketball often have a different viewpoint from some of today's critics. When one player eats, we all eat, Leslie explained. As we all get more opportunities, it opens doors for everyone else. This philosophy underscores the fundamental divide in how people view Clark's rise. While some see the attention as a zero-sum game, where Clark's visibility means less spotlight for others, Leslie sees the expansive potential. More exposure leads to more viewers, which means more revenue, and more revenue leads to better contracts and improved conditions for all players. Leslie also praised Clark's approach to the spotlight. "I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her," Leslie said. This speaks to an often overlooked aspect of Clark's character, her consistent efforts to redirect attention to her teammates and to the larger women's game. Despite the media frenzy surrounding her, Clark has repeatedly emphasized that she's just one player in a league full of incredible talent. "I don't understand what the big deal is about Caitlin getting so much love," Leslie continued. "She deserves it, and she's helped change the game, just like a lot of other players have." Leslie's statement highlights a crucial difference in perspective. She doesn't see recognition as something that should be evenly distributed regardless of impact. Instead, she acknowledges the reality that different players contribute differently to the game's growth, and the attention they receive often reflects this. What stands out in Leslie's comments is how they contrast with the narrative pushed by some media outlets. Rather than framing Clark's popularity as divisive or unfair, Leslie sees it as something positive for everyone involved. "We are all benefiting from the effects that she's had on the game," Leslie said. "I just appreciate the way she shows up." Leslie went on to highlight Clark's qualities that deserve recognition. She's a fierce competitor, a trash talker, a player who elevates her teammates, and an exciting talent to watch. These observations come from a deep understanding of the game, not just marketing hype. As a Hall of Famer who's experienced basketball at its highest level, Leslie evaluates Clark based on her skills and impact, not just her media presence. Leslie's appreciation extends beyond Clark to the entire WNBA. "I miss seeing A'ja Wilson out there. She's still one of the best players in the world," Leslie remarked, also praising Breanna Stewart as one of the league's top talents. By mentioning these established stars, Leslie shows that recognizing Clark's impact doesn't diminish other players. It's entirely possible and necessary to celebrate multiple forms of excellence simultaneously. Leslie then addressed the core issue directly, the disparity in televised games between the Fever and other teams. "Are we going to get upset about 5, 6, 10 games less on TV or not?" she said. "I don't think we should. We have access to find these games now in a way we've never had before, and we need to appreciate that." This perspective reflects a generational difference in how WNBA visibility is perceived. For pioneers like Leslie, who played at a time when women's basketball on TV was almost impossible to find, The current multi-platform availability represents an incredible leap forward. A few games difference in national TV coverage is a small issue compared to the overall growth of the league. "I'm so thankful for her," Leslie said of Clark. "I'm thankful for all of these women and where the game is now. We have to step back and see the bigger picture and how it's impacting all of us." This call to focus on the bigger picture encapsulates the wisdom Leslie brings to the conversation. As someone who helped build the WNBA from the ground up, she understands that the league's growth hasn't been linear or equal at all times. Different eras have had different catalysts, stars, and opportunities.
Actually, a workout video with Brianna Turner and Caitlin Clark. Now, this is the first video where we've seen two players working out together from this team, so I want to live react to it with you guys. So obviously, Coach KP is there. I feel like he never leaves the gym. You have Caitlin coming across the screen for a three. It looks like with all of these, they're working on a screen and roll with Brianna.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA drama had settled down, chaos returned with a vengeance. And who's at the center of it all? You guessed it, Angel Reese. Her former teammate, Brianna Turner, was recently seen working alongside none other than Caitlin Clark in Indiana. And let's just say, Angel isn't exactly cheering from the sidelines. The internet went wild, and honestly, this storyline has it all. Petty feuds, unresolved grudges, and enough jealousy to fuel a reality TV show for seasons. Brianna Turner has officially separated herself from the drama and ego surrounding Angel Reese, and she's doing it with finesse by teaming up with Caitlin Clark. Let's be honest, it's like leaving a chaotic house party and stepping into a peaceful luxury spa. The difference in energy is clear. Suddenly, Turner is thriving. Who would have thought? Choosing professionalism and skill over the noise and distractions seems to be the winning move.
So, lads, it's looking like the Indiana Fever have signed a perfect player to have beside Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Dwana Bonner, Tasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull. Who else? Sydney Colson still on this team, Damaris Dantas, and whoever they draft in the second round.
Now, picture Angel Reese likely scrolling through Instagram, jaw tight with frustration, as she watches her former teammate cozy up with the very player she's been throwing passive-aggressive jabs at since their college days. If jealousy were a sport, Reese would be in the running for gold. She always saw herself as the main character, the face of the league. Yet here's Turner, choosing Caitlin Clark over the Bayou Barbie swagger.
And of course you have Caitlin. She had such a phenomenal rookie season, so many great accolades. And I think the jumping from season 1 to season 2 players can also make a really big jump. So I'm excited to see her growth from year 1 and year 2. And she hasn't reached her ceiling yet either, so I'm really excited to watch her growth as well.
Let's be real. Reese probably thought Brianna would stay loyal, supporting her drama, lingering in her shadow, and feeding into her narrative. But instead, Turner hopped on the first train to Indiana, where the vibe is positive, the chemistry is strong, and the focus is purely on basketball, not side eyes and social media beefs. It's almost like some people actually care about winning, not just trending. Watching Caitlin and Brianna hit the gym together wasn't just heartwarming, it was telling. It highlighted who's focused on the game and who's focused on the drama. Their workout was smooth, intense, and team-oriented. You could feel the chemistry. Meanwhile, Angel's recent performances have felt more like a monologue no one asked for, filled with dramatic pauses, exaggerated reactions, and very little substance.
Angel Reese, 3-on-3. Let's get it! Hey, we back like we never left. Angel Reese in the post. Gonna work number 5. Shake and bake. Earthquake. Bang! Hey, Angel, you had all off season to get in the lab, fix your lamps, but what did you do? More podcasting. Layup.
And let's not overlook the blow to Angel Reese's public image. The player who once proclaimed herself the face of women's basketball is now left on the sidelines, watching as her teammates join forces with the true game changer. Caitlin Clark is out there building connections, forging alliances, and elevating her team. And now, Turner's right there with her. Meanwhile, Reese is stuck with the same tired antics and a shrinking circle of support. You just know Reese saw that footage of Turner and Clark and immediately went into damage control mode, probably typing a cryptic tweet like, "Loyalty hits different," or preparing a carefully curated photo dump with dramatic lighting to stir up attention. But let's be real, we all saw what went down, and so did the rest of the league.
How are you feeling about being in Indiana and joining the team?
I'm really excited. I followed a lot of these players throughout their college careers and professional careers, so it's kind of like full circle moment to be on the same team with a lot of these players again.
Tell me what it was like that, what went into your decision to come here and join what's being built here at the Fever?
I think that the front office and the staff just really had a vision in place, and I felt that I could really complement their vision.
Reese's ego might be hurt, but Brianna Turner's career just got a fresh boost, and all it took was stepping away from the drama and linking up with someone focused on elevating the game. That move says a lot. Angel may still have her supporters, but she's learning the hard way that clout fades, while teamwork endures.
Mashed potatoes! Brr! Thought we were gonna leave the hop skippity do 3000 in 2024. Jumping off 1 foot, landing on that same foot. Then we're stat padding. Still, I thought we were past this, Angel. Burn! Rebounder in WNBA history. Look at this. Elite rebound. Look at that vertical. Look at the outlet pass. No, Angel. No! Why, Angel? Why? Not the kick out three. Butter pecan. Burn! If you throw it out of bounds, you hate puppies. What? She a playmaker. She's a point queen. Point queen. She making plays for the other team. Bang! Caitlin Clark's not the only one that can make cool passes. I can do it. Me too.
Maybe, just maybe, Angel Reese should try something revolutionary for once. It's called humility. Shocking, right? Imagine prioritizing your team instead of turning every game into a personal highlight reel. Picture Reese sharing the spotlight rather than hoarding it like her legacy depends on it, and playing the game as a teammate, not a solo act with a chip on her shoulder. But of course, that would require a complete rebrand from her current role as the queen of ego and unnecessary theatrics. So, while Reese continues rehearsing her next emotional press conference or planning her next media stunt, let's raise a glass to Brianna Turner and Caitlin Clark, two players who truly understand the value of teamwork.
Talk about you on the court. Like, what sort of attributes do you think you're going to bring, and where will you, add to the Fever from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think I'm really just like a calming presence. I feel like I never get too high or get too low. People are like, why don't you smile more? Why don't you get excited? I'm like, I'm just chilling. I'm vibing. Like, I feel like I'm really an observer, but I am really competitive as well. I like to run the floor, like to play defense, like to win, and I think the Fever was a place to be if I wanted to win.
Just when we thought the WNBA offseason had given us all the drama it could muster, Brianna Turner swooped in with the ultimate plot twist. Remember when, not too long ago, Turner was throwing those subtle jabs at Caitlin Clark online? Oh, we all remember. The tension was palpable. But now, fast forward to today, and you'd swear they've been best friends for life. The way they're smiling in training photos, seamlessly vibing together on the court, it's as if they've been a dynamic duo from the start. It's giving frenemies to finals energy, and the internet? Well, they're absolutely eating it up. Meanwhile, poor Angel Reese is left standing awkwardly in the background, like the third wheel nobody invited to the party. It's a sad sight, really. Her presence barely felt while everyone else moves forward, building alliances, making plays, and embracing the future. Talk about being left behind. The tables have turned, and it's playing out in front of us, drama and all.
We got Caitlin, we got Paige, we got Juju. Who do you think will shine the brightest?
Well, that's exactly why I'm not picking Caitlin Clark.
Matt, that girl Juju, she is the real deal.
Juju Watkins ain't the same as Caitlin Clark. Playing in Los Angeles at USC is not the same as playing at Iowa. Well, Caitlin Clark was in Iowa, in the middle of nowhere. So she built a huge following right there in the state of Iowa, her home state.
The mainstream sports media tried to whip up a rivalry, but the numbers tell a whole different story. Caitlin Clark isn't just outplaying Juju Watkins, She's dominating on a whole other level. It's like they're not even in the same universe. The stats don't lie, and Clark is lighting it up like no one else in the game. This isn't just competition, it's a one-woman show.
ESPN exposed again. Ratings down 22%. Attendance down 30%. No Caitlin Clark effect, no dice.
And Juju is a bigger baller than Caitlin Clark.
They will regret that they took Caitlin Clark number one.
It's not racism that's keeping everybody in Los Angeles away from Juju Watkins' basketball games. You have to dominate at home.
Caitlin is a supernova, and Juju probably is a better player.
Support Juju the way y'all supported Caitlin Clark. If you don't, you're racist. It's not fair.
While Caitlin Clark is shattering attendance records and drawing millions of eyes every time she steps onto the court, Juju Watkins is still fighting to capture that same kind of attention. The gap between the two isn't just wide, it's astronomical. Clark isn't just another player, she's a magnet for fans, a phenomenon that has taken the sports world by storm. Every game feels like an event, with crowds packed to the rafters and TV ratings hitting new heights every time she plays. Meanwhile, Watkins, though undeniably talented, still finds herself struggling to ignite that same kind of buzz. It's not for lack of skill, but rather the sheer gravitational pull Clark has on the basketball world. The level of excitement Clark generates is almost otherworldly, while Watkins is still building her momentum. The difference isn't just about stats or plays, it's the force with which Clark has taken over the spotlight. She's rewriting what it means to be a star in this sport, and the gap between her and Watkins is so massive, it's hard to even comprehend. This isn't just a rivalry, it's a showcase of dominance that's truly out of this world.
Needle mover in women's basketball, college or pro, is Caitlin Clark.
Despite the constant barrage of media hype pushing the narrative that Watkins is the next big sensation, there are some glaring contradictions that can't be ignored. If she truly is the future of the sport, then why is it that her games are still consistently half empty? Why is it that television ratings plummet dramatically whenever Clark is not on the court? These are not small, insignificant details. They are clear signs that demand an explanation. The truth about the situation is practically screaming at us. And it is evident in the vast emptiness of those stands and the sharp decline in viewer interest. It's a stark contrast to the glorified image the media keeps presenting.
Yo, man, we should be talking about her the way we talked about Caitlin Clark last year.
Juju gets covered all the time. I cover Juju. I talk about Juju. It's great for the game. The idea that Juju and Paige have not been covered is just false.
Let's be blunt about this. Juju Watkins is not Caitlin Clark. Not now, not ever. And the numbers make that abundantly clear. There's no need to sugarcoat the reality. Watkins simply doesn't measure up to Clark's level of impact, both on and off the court. The statistics don't lie, and they tell a very different story from the one the media keeps pushing.
ESPN notes that the viewership for the first round was up 43% from 2023, with an average of 257,000 people watching the first 2 days, but it leaves out the record-breaking viewership from last year, where viewership averaged 469,000 in the 2024 first round. That number was boosted by a whopping 3.2 million tuning in to Caitlin Clark and Iowa's 91-65 win over Holy Cross. The difference between this year and last year represents a nearly 22% drop. ESPN is literally scared. They can't stand Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark isn't just a standout rookie. She's a cultural force. Her impact goes far beyond the game itself. She's single-handedly driven a massive surge in WNBA ticket sales, shattered broadcast viewership records, and forced major sports networks to completely rethink their approach to covering women's basketball. Clark has redefined what it means to be a star in this sport, and her influence is felt across the entire landscape of women's athletics.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT!
She signed my jersey! So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
She just brings so much passion to the game, and look at all these people that just want to come and see her.
On the other hand, Watkins' momentum feels almost entirely manufactured by the media. The hype around her is being built in press rooms, not fueled by genuine fan enthusiasm or solid numbers. Just take a look at the attendance. Caitlin Clark's games are selling out, with fans crowding every inch of the arena. Scalpers are asking thousands for her tickets, a phenomenon we've never seen before in women's basketball. That kind of demand speaks volumes, and it highlights just how starkly different the realities are between these two players.
Women's March Madness attendance drops 30%. Attendance for the opening rounds of the Women's March Madness dropped from record numbers seen the previous 2 years when Caitlin Clark spiked interest in the tournament while leading Iowa to consecutive Final Fours. What the hell happened to 2024? Where's those numbers? Why are you not talking about it? We know why, because they don't want to come out and just admit the ratings are real down without Caitlin Clark.
Now, compare that to Watkins' games. Rows of empty seats, a noticeable lack of energy. There's a clear disconnect between the hype and the actual reality. Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut, on the other hand, drew over 17,000 fans, setting a new franchise record for the Indiana Fever, and that was just for a regular season game. Even her preseason appearances far exceeded expectations, with crowds turning out in impressive numbers. The stark difference in fan engagement tells the whole story.
If I was the WNBA, I would have considered a separate television package to a network on just Caitlin Clark games. I would have had two packages, the WNBA package, and then a separate, let's say, 15 to 18 game Caitlin Clark package.
Where's that same level of excitement for Juju Watkins? It's nowhere to be found. Her games simply don't stir up the same kind of buzz or enthusiasm. The energy just isn't there, and it's hard to ignore that stark contrast.
And Juju is a bigger baller than Caitlin Clark. I said it.
I said it. Yeah.
I said it. And it has nothing to do with black and the white. The statistics say what everybody needs to be knowing. Juju is a better athlete than Caitlin Clark.
Show us the stats that you're referencing. I mean, come on.
Let's switch focus to television viewership. Caitlin Clark's NCAA championship game drew an astounding 18.7 million viewers, setting a new record as the most watched women's basketball game in history. The numbers speak for themselves. Clark has captured the attention of millions, far surpassing anything seen before in the sport.
Whether you like the Indiana Fever or not, whether you like Caitlin Clark or not, it has gotten to the point where we can no longer deny the fact that they are the biggest draw in the WNBA, and they proved that all of last season.
She regularly outperforms NBA games in viewership, which is almost unheard of. Caitlin Clark has truly transcended the sport. She's not just a basketball player anymore. She's become a mainstream celebrity and a sports icon, captivating audiences far beyond the basketball world.
The league wasn't ready for her last year. They just weren't prepared.
Yeah.
She was prepared.
She's had a full offseason now to rest.
No. She's going to be great. Yeah. The league just didn't know what to do.
And Juju? She's not even in the same conversation. Her games haven't attracted record-breaking viewership or sparked national discussions. There's no viral buzz, no mainstream crossover, and no significant pull beyond the usual circles. The difference in impact is undeniable.
Sold out games after game after game. She had a connection with those people that was special. She carried that connection and that fan base to the WNBA. She dominated. Oh, she's being denied something. That y'all better treat her like Caitlin Clark. So how can we treat her like Caitlin Clark? She's in a different body of water. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp both played the card of, we should be talking about Juju Watkins the same way we talked about Caitlin Clark.
The media's effort to place Watkins in the same league as Clark is glaringly transparent, and honestly, it feels desperate. If Watkins were truly on Clark's level, we wouldn't need this constant push to market her. The numbers would speak for themselves, but they don't, and that says it all. They're trying to create a rivalry where none exists. The comparison crumbles as soon as you examine the data. Watkins doesn't draw the crowds, doesn't drive the ratings, and isn't the household name the media is trying to make her out to be.
That girl, that young lady y'all got at USC right now, Juju.
Incredible.
Hey, I tell all them bitter, angry girls in the WNBA who are upset about Caitlin Clark, move over more because Juju is special. Number one, I would give a shout out to Caitlin to what she's did for women basketball the last 3 years, man. It's been incredible. And I wish those women would embrace it. But Matt, that girl Juju, she is the real deal.
She's going to be bigger than Caitlin Clark. And I don't even know if that's possible for what Caitlin Clark has done for women's basketball.
Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation player. She's the kind of athlete who doesn't just play the game, she changes the game. Her presence shifts entire cultures. She commands attention wherever she goes. And most importantly, she elevates everyone around her. Then there's Juju Watkins. Sure, she's talented, no doubt about that. But we've seen players like her before. There's nothing groundbreaking happening here. So if we're going to compare these two, let's do it properly. Let's look at the stats, the skills, and the impact side by side. And when we do, the truth becomes undeniable and painfully clear. Juju Watkins isn't Caitlin Clark, not now, and certainly not ever. Did you hear the latest uproar in the WNBA? Diana Taurasi, one of the league's all-time greats, is openly furious about being compared to rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. Taurasi believes that as a seasoned veteran, she deserves more respect and recognition, pushing back against claims that Clark is outperforming her. Taurasi, who has consistently been a cornerstone of the Phoenix Mercury, feels that the comparisons are undermining her legacy. "I've dedicated my life to this game," Taurasi stated in a recent interview. "Being compared to a rookie who's just starting her journey isn't fair. I deserve better recognition for my years of hard work and achievements." But let's talk numbers. Caitlin Clark has been nothing short of phenomenal this past season. She's averaged 22 points per game, leading the league in assists with 9.5 per game, and boasts a three-point shooting percentage of 40%. In contrast, Taurasi averaged 18 points, 5 assists, and shooting 35% from beyond the arc. Clark also holds the record for the most assists in a single season, showcasing her playmaking prowess that has transformed the Indiana Fever into one of the top teams in the league. Clark's impact goes beyond just the stats. She's revitalized the Fever, turning a struggling team into playoff contenders with her leadership and dynamic play. While Taurasi has been a consistent performer, Clark's explosive performances have captured the spotlight, leading many to argue that she's the more valuable player this season. Taurasi's frustration is understandable. After over 2 decades in the league, she's amassed 5 WNBA championships, 2 MVP awards, and countless accolades. Yet, in the eyes of some fans and analysts, a rookie is already outshining her. This has sparked a heated debate about the criteria for valuing veteran players versus rising stars. Critics of the comparisons point out that Clark's all-around game and statistical dominance make her a strong MVP contender. However, supporters of Taurasi argue that experience, leadership, and clutch performances in high-stakes games are just as important, if not more so, than raw statistics. The controversy reached its peak when Taurasi confronted the narrative head-on. "Comparing me to Caitlin is like comparing apples to oranges," she said. "Experience and consistency matter. Caitlin is incredible, but she's still learning. I've been here, building this league, and I expect to be treated with the respect that comes with that." Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to excel, proving that her rookie season is one for the history books. Her ability to score, distribute, and make game-winning plays has earned her a legion of fans and a prominent spot in MVP discussions. As the season progresses, the rivalry between Taurasi and Clark highlights the evolving dynamics of the WNBA, where veterans and rookies alike are pushing each other to new heights. The debate isn't just about who has better stats. It's about what makes a player truly valuable. Is it the ability to dominate the scoreboard, the knack for making teammates better, or the experience to lead a team through tough times? Taurasi and Clark represent different facets of greatness, and their comparison raises important questions about how we honor and recognize talent in the league. As the WNBA season heats up, all eyes are on Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark. Taurasi's call for better treatment of veterans and Clark's undeniable rise are shaping the conversation around player value and legacy. Whether you side with Taurasi's experience or Clark's impressive stats, one thing is clear: the future of the WNBA is bright, with both legends and rising stars driving the game forward. What do you think? Should veteran experience weigh more heavily in MVP considerations? Or should outstanding rookie performances like Caitlin Clark's take center stage?